tell me, how does it feel to be back in the neighborhood?
Through that hope, civilians are governed in America's largest city.
Do we have any information on why this is happening?
We're really just looking to figure out how and why this is happening.
Clearly that's the goal.
Well, since you don't remember, I'm gonna help you out.
I'm trying to protect you!
You tell him to call me when he gets in.
You have no idea what you put your foot in.
Tony, what happened? That's me with all that. We are who we are, Jew.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Jay Hen. I am your host of Kingdom Conversations, and I'm here to tell you that I'm excited about what is happening for us. As you saw the preview, I am making my acting debut this summer in a brand new movie called Flashes. So we want you to make sure that you tune in for that. I just believe, guys, that God has made room for us, not just in the church, but also in the marketplace. And if you have a gift mix, I honestly believe that all of your gifts should be in motion in this season. So we want you to look out. And of course, we got some brand new music coming out. Our music group is launching All Things Music. And our first artist, Alex Sales, has a brand new single that I'm about to drop on you guys. She's about to rock the nation, man. It's crazy. It's a song called Move. And I know it's going to bless the nations, man. So we're excited about that. So there's a lot of great things going on. Also, we have upgraded. Our podcast can now be heard on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, YouTube Studio, Amazon, Podcast Addict, Spotify, Alexa, anywhere that podcasts are, we are now there. Kingdom Conversations is now everywhere. And you have to put in Kingdom Conversations BK because there's a lot of Kingdom Conversations on the web, but there's no Kingdom Conversations like Kingdom Conversations BK. So we want you to make sure that you follow us and go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and become a supporter of the ministry. But now, listen, I am blessed to interview a lot of amazing people on here, especially this season. We had Pastor Jamila Gooden. We just last week had my big brother Lowell Pye from Minnesota Standard, Minister Cherie Thomas, Tim Clinton. This season is just getting better and better. And today, in my opinion, number one, I love his name. But he is, in my opinion, one of the greatest songwriters and worship leaders of our generation. And, you know, I really don't have to do this because everybody really knows who he is. But Jason Clayborn, born in Louisville, Kentucky, has written several hit songs for Vashawn Mitchell, Over and Over, Wes Morgan, Bishop Hezekiah Walker, Ricky Dillard, just to name a few. He is also nominated for a Dove Award, Stellar Award, Soul Train Award, Billboard Award, and Grammy Award. I mean, this guy, I knew he was putting in work, y'all, but I didn't know it was this much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring my brother to the stage, and we're going to chop it up here on the conversation. I want you to welcome Dr., the Bishop, the Reverend Jason Clayborn.
What's up,
what
brother?
Up, Jay?
What up, man? Listen, my namesake.
Listen, man. Listen,
man.
I have to first say thank you for you taking time out of your busy schedule, because I knew you was working out here, bro, but I didn't know you was doing all this, man. You put in some work.
You know, sometimes, you know, as you realize what your calling is and what the way you should move in the industry, it once you lock into where you are and who you are and understand that there's different seasons and different levels of up. You know, I think people don't realize that, you know, you have to go through some valley seasons. You got to go through some middle of the mountain seasons until you get to the top. So, man, I just try to do what the Lord has called me to do, man, and keep my pen to the pad, which helps keep the lights on, Doc. And,
yes, sir. Oh, yes.
And just understand my purpose and my calling, man. So the Lord has been really, really faithful to me in different seasons of my life. And I want to say I'm honored, bro, because you're a legend in these streets, bro. So I appreciate you. I thank God for you, man, and your work is not gone unnoticed.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that so much, man. But let's get right into it, man. You have managed to not just impact our culture, but you are now sought after from the CCM world as well as our churches. How has that been? And what is is there a beef between the two? Because I see a lot of artists being offended when certain people touch certain genres of music. I want you to speak to that, man. What's the problem? What's the issue? If there is
well, it's a line item of a couple of different things. First of all, you got to know that this is God's kingdom. Right. So yes, it's Black. Yes, it's white. Yes, it's Hispanic. Yes, we can go all the nationalities. But when you are a kingdom worker, you kind of go past the blurred lines and understand the full gist of the calling. So from that aspect, it's incredible because there are a lot of people that are good-hearted and out here for the right reason. Now, flip the script, you have this culture of liberals and Republicans and outside of the church, So I think that's where the lines, when the political part of people think, oh man, political pieces and Christianity doesn't go together. You got to read your word a little bit more, that there are politics in the Bible. But that's what blurs the lines because of a lot of times them not just not understanding, but them not respecting us as Black people, understanding that this America that we live in is ours as well. Right. It's ours. And we helped build this country for 400 years without a paycheck. So after you get past all of the ethereal, lift your hands and worship and praise, we have to deal with those line item things that gets us, the water starts to get murky. When you start to deal with those things of understanding, Republicans and Democrats and liberals and all of that is a part of Christianity. Right. And so I think it's a little bit of both. And I think, when it comes to kingdom and understanding the kingdom, they are incredible with, and I'm talking about our white brothers and sisters are incredible with building community. Right. Us as Black church is all we had. Right. So when you gave somebody the position of being the choir director, they were the choir director for 50 years. And when it was time for the baton to be passed, they held on to that baton because that's all we had. We didn't have, where we could go into Fortune 500 companies and get CEO jobs. And, we were the waiters and we were the janitors and, and so that line becomes murky and it murkies the water when it comes to kingdom. So if you want to know my perspective, let me go on and say that because I want to clear the air. I think that there are a lot of great, good-hearted people in the CCM. Well, let's call it what it is, the white Christian market. Right. And then there's a lot of good people in the gospel market, but then let's be honest. There's a lot of very gatekeepers in the gospel market, and there's a lot of gatekeepers in the CCM market. And I just feel like the Lord has allowed me to maneuver my way through that to be able to work on both sides of the water.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the challenges that so many independent artists run into as far as the gatekeepers. And it's strange to me because when we use that terminology, when you look at it in the scriptures, the responsibility of gatekeepers were to actually stand at a high place and watch the city. And when trouble was coming, they would sound the alarm to warn the people that there was an enemy coming to destroy. But that's not what we're experiencing in the music industry. We're like, they see Jason coming, they're like, nah, we got to keep this dude out because he can't just sing, but he can write, and he got oil on him, and he can produce, and he can write for both sides. You can put Clayborn in any room, and he's going to be effective. How have you handled that? Because I know for me, I am at such a level of frustration and disappointment because in my mind, if there's one kingdom, and I'm blessed just like you, minister in both settings. I don't just preach and sing for our people, but I minister for a lot of our Caucasian brothers and sisters. And, you know, I get in trouble, Clayborn, because, you know, I'm very vocal. And
Absolutely.
when that police brutality and stuff was happening and these jokers wasn't saying nothing, I was like, yo, my people are getting beat down and shot in the street, and you passed 1,000 of us, and you ain't gonna say nothing.
Right, man. I lost some close friends and family when it comes to that market because I spoke out and say, hey, why ain't y'all saying nothing? Y'all have Black people in your congregation. So it's like I said, man. I'm just like you, and maybe that's because that's our namesake, man. We don't hold back. We speak out, you know, against what we feel is not in order. And I think the protection is it's not the right protection because in the gospel market, anybody can come in and put a record out.
Yeah.
Anybody from the secular world can come in, put a record in, win a Grammy, and then leave and go back to doing exactly what they're doing. So are you really a gatekeeper?
Right.
Are you a gatekeeper of your own world because you don't want anybody to come in of your, which is crazy that I'm saying this, but you don't, in your own family, you don't want anybody to come in and take your coins. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So
they'll let Snoop come in.
Yeah.
And do a record and won't jump on your record.
Tori Kelly. I mean, there's so many of them that have came in, done records, won Grammys, and then left.
Yeah.
And I'm back to doing whatever they were doing beforehand because there's no, what the gatekeeper, like you said, biblically, that should be able to say, no, man, you can't come in here and just do whatever you want to in this culture. And a lot of our white brothers and sisters, they're protective. They're really gatekeepers over not just the music, but I feel like the kingdom of, you know what I mean? The kingdom of, or where, overall. And so I think that that's the difference between us. And it's been frustrating. You know what I mean? I'm going through a little bit of that now where I'm like, you know what I mean? Why do I have to, you know, I gotta be a part of this crew to be in, you know, or I gotta be a part of this. Why can't I just be a part of the kingdom and move how the Lord wants me to move? And it's frustrating at times and disheartening at times because people that you looked up to or people that are on their way up, what they sing about and what they speak about is not always what they live. And you know, and so I have to learn how to decipher that and move how I move until the Lord opens up the doors that he wants me to go through. You'd be surprised how many churches I don't get invited to. And I know these ministers of music and people and pastors and people for years. I mean, they've came to my church. I brought them to events and, you know, sometimes I was like, dang God, what did I do? You know, and it's not the fact that what you've done, it's like the Lord protects you, you know, all the time, protects you, because maybe that's just not what is meant for the will and the plan that the Lord has for your life.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn how to become comfortable that when opportunities and things don't present itself for me to be able to do, that I remain humble and understand that that's not what the Lord wanted for me.
Absolutely.
You know, I could tell you stories upon stories of things that have happened that I'm like, dang, how? What did I? What? And the Lord be like, that just wasn't for you. Yeah, and I have to, even though it frustrates me and sometimes it makes me mad. I mean, just being honest, as us being humans, I have to understand that God, that's not what the Lord wanted for me.
Yeah.
And whatever He wants for any of us, we have to be comfortable. Stephen Hurd said this to me a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me. Will you be comfortable with the 50 people that the Lord allows your ministry to bless until the 500 come, until the 5,000 come, until the 50,000, the 500,000, the 5 million, until they come, until the Lord allows you to reach all of these amounts of people for His kingdom, not yours.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where people get misconstrued a lot of times is there's a thin line to what are we building?
Right.
Are we building His kingdom or are you building your own personal kingdom?
Yeah.
And my prayer has always been, Lord, if it ain't meant for me, don't let it happen. You know, and a lot of times I got to remember that that's what I prayed.
Yeah.
You know, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I prayed that. So it wasn't, you know, something that I prayed last week. It was like, dang, okay, God, I forgot I said that. You know what I mean? You know, so I'm learning how to maneuver through that and be comfortable, even watching people and friends of mine that I've been connected to for years surpass me.
Yeah.
And then I look and I'm like, oh shoot. But the Lord's like, that's not the will that I have for your life.
Right. And you know, a lot of people don't know that, especially in the industry, you know, you see people catapulting, but you don't know what they did to get there. And you don't know what they're doing to stay there. So sometimes I'm like, God, because, you know, sometimes getting on the inside of this industry, I was like, yo, God, if I got to do that, you can keep that. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. It's for the other side of me.
Yeah.
I've had to say, man, God, I don't want to have to beat them up. I don't want to have to beat them. Like, you know, I don't want God, don't put me in the tabloids for man, Jason, you know, smack, you know what I mean? I don't want to have to do that. So I feel like at times the Lord is like, no, let me not do that for you. Because if you get in that room with that person and they throw you left, you're going to have a Peter experience. And I'm going to have to come down and pick up an ear and put an ear back up. I don't want, you know what I mean? I don't want to have to do this. So, and then, you know, I'm working with an artist now. I got a song coming out with him. And he was like, Jay, what took us so long for us to get a song together? I said, well, I don't run in your account, around your circles, and it wasn't time yet. Man, 20 years, we finally get a song together. I'm like, this is the season and the time for it. I was just waiting on my moment for the Lord to connect for it to happen. You know what I mean? I used to like, man, why ain't we worked together yet? But you don't never know what the Lord is protecting you from that. And you got to be careful, you know, not to get mad at the Lord because He didn't open the door. I would see people on award shows and things, man, ideas that I've had or things that I've done, you know, on YouTube and stuff, and I see them do it, and I'll be like, man. I'd be like, for real, God, like, man, you know, I can pull up a video and put these videos right next to each other, and you know that's you gave me that. But I had to get past that. I had to say, okay, Lord, this is your kingdom, and we're building your kingdom. So I'm gonna do, as a servant, I'm gonna do whatever you need me to do.
Because I've been wondering why me and you ain't do a song together. So I guess it's
long overdue. So now we on there. Let's go on there. We gotta lock it in. It's
lock
long
it in.
overdue. It's long overdue, man.
I have been following your ministry, and God has blessed both of us to work with some legends in the game. And you know, I'm looking at your wall and I see my dad up there.
Yeah.
my bishop. And you guys, I remember when Bishop recorded, All I Need. He sent it to me and he said, I would love to hear you sing this.
What?
Yes. Bishop sent it to me, he said, Jason, I would love to hear you sing this. And I was like, Bishop, all right. And I started doing it at the church and different things. And then I turned around and you did it. I said, oh, I can't do that. The right person did it. You had the right name, Bishop, but it was the wrong person because what you did to that song, bro.
So let me tell you what's crazy about that. So you know that song was on Sold Out.
Yeah.
So it was never a single.
Never. And
it took me, and I'm gonna give him a shout out because I always do. Jeff Leslie is the reason that song is on the record. Was on that record.
Wow.
I sent it to Bishop. He couldn't find the song. I sent it to him again. God rest his soul. Now Rudy was like, Bishop called me and said, send the song again. And I sent it again. And then Jeff was like, the week of the recording, Jeff was like, Bishop, your godson sent you a song. You need to do this song. Wow. So the night of the recording in Ben Salem, Oscar Williams hit me and was like, Jay, Bishop got on stage and said that they're doing a song, but they're just playing the music and everybody's clapping. Nobody's singing any lyrics. So the night of that recording, nobody had heard the song. Wow. The song comes out. Donald Lawrence called me because he produced that album and said, nephew, go ahead. This is when I really started learning. Shout out to Donald Lawrence, who taught me the publishing and writer's game. Yes, and so I went on, signed up, BMI, got everything locked in. And then the song came out. It was track 9 on the album. But all churches from all over the country and the world started singing the song.
Yes.
And that was the first time I started getting checks. And I was like, why am I getting checks? And my song Sold Out was on the radio.
Ain't a single.
It wasn't a single. God Favored Me. It came out. I'm in the God Favored Me video. So I'm like, why am I? And it just goes to show you that when the Lord has his hand on you and has his hand on a song, I wrote that song on a Wednesday night Bible study on the back of some message notes.
Crazy.
Bible study while my pastor was preaching. I wrote that, and I wrote better on a Wednesday night Bible study too, which is insane. Yes. I'll never forget leaving. When I wrote You're All I Need, I left Bible study and I was driving home, and the Lord said, I'm gonna take this song all around the world. And I look back at my truck, I'm like, somebody, that was an audible voice. I was like, man, I'm tripping, bro. I'm like, I'm bugging. And I left it alone, man. And the Lord, man, took that song, and still to this day. So being that it wasn't, Bishop had called me when the Every Praise record came out because people thought I wrote Every Praise. Because if you play You're All I Need and Every Praise next to each other, very similar. And I was like, man, I didn't write Every Praise. People, when it was the song of the decade, people was like, congratulations. I was like, I didn't write that one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but it just let me know that I had been a part of solidifying choir worship music. I was a part of that, starting that kind of era, where choir worship music, because we don't compartmentalize our genre. That's our problem. Right. Yeah, we just have started doing that at the Stellars and all that. But man, shout out to Bishop, man. So during the pandemic, I got signed right before the pandemic. And I was like, well, since You're All I Need was never a single, let me drop it and feature Bishop.
Right.
I don't think it really had never been done a lot where the writer comes back, gets signed, and features the artist who made the song big.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean? So I was like, man, let me do that. Bishop, he was a little leery to get in the studio and stuff. I said, look, I'll book everything. Just go, I'll shoot your parts of the video in where you're at, and we'll splice it in and make it look like you was there. And man,
I'm telling you, man, working with him in the studio, because we just finished recording his new album, and I'm standing there, and I don't know what Bishop was thinking, but he was like, Jason, you direct, and he had me and ST doing a lot of the vocals, and I'm just sitting there watching his ear and watching how he actually constructs a song. And for him not to play, his process to making hit records is unreal. And for me to be on so many records with him, I never really got the chance to sit down and watch him do post-production stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was like, yo, this dude
he knows
brilliant.
He knows his formula.
Yes.
And he knows what he wants, and he knows what works.
Yeah, man.
Don't ask me how. When I didn't even know Better was gonna be a single. I didn't even know. Ron hit me and was like, yo, son, we rehearsing your song like crazy. And I was like, what are you talking about? I sent Better to him 6 months before, not even thinking about it. And he was like, yo, you about to have a single for and it's gonna be the title cut for the next record. And I'm like, what? You just never know what the Lord is gonna do and how he's gonna do what he do. And you gotta be comfortable with, I wasn't on the Every Praise record, but I was on the next record. I'm not on this new record, but it's family, man.
Well, it ain't finished yet, so you still got time, man. To go.
Yeah, man. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just grateful to be around GOATs who have had longevity. Him and and Ricky and Donald, and just to watch them and their formulas and how they do what they do, man. This is my third album I'm on for Ricky Dillard, and then I'm singing
the song. What song did you write on this one?
Not Far Away, the one I'm singing.
Okay, and the one before that?
The one before that, I wrote Behold Christ the Lord on the.
No, I saw something on your bio. Let me pull it up.
I Survived It was on the TV.
Woo!
I Survived It.
Man of God, can I tell you something? That song right there, bro, at one of my lowest points, I listened to that song. And I had no idea you wrote that, Jay.
For real?
I did not know until I just read your bio. I was like, yo, Jay wrote that? Bro, when I tell you that song got me out of such a slump, bro. Wow. And the crazy thing is, when you're always the one out front, always pouring, sometimes people don't detect that you're sinking. It reminds me of that song with Ty. I was in the pulpit sinking, preaching, sinking.
Yeah.
And that song, bro, I would just go in my truck and put it and blast it, open the sunroof, and I would just sometimes sit there and cry, bro.
Wow.
And just think about the fact that, yo, I've been dealt some hard knocks, man, but I survived it. So, man, thank you, bro, because that song ministered to me and pulled me out of a deep state of depression. And nobody even knew I was preaching, traveling, singing, but I was depressed, man, because I was like, yo, this can't be it. It got to be more for me. And that song right there, bro, I promise you, I had no idea you wrote that song.
That's crazy, man. You know what? I'm just grateful. And what you said and your testimony is what means the most to me, is that we can write songs that people that are going through or need encouragement or that are at the top of their game and are just thinking back through what they've been through, to write songs that will live past us. You know what I mean? It's hilarious now when I get in the car with my son and we're riding in the car and we listen to Sirius XM and a song will come on and he'll be like, Daddy, you wrote that, didn't you? And I'm like, dang, I did.
Yeah.
Or I'll forget. A song will pop on and he'll be like, hey, Daddy, that's one of your songs, ain't it? I'm like, oh, shoot, it is. Or then we'll get in the car and he'll be like, Daddy, you on the radio. And I'm like, oh, shoot. You know what I mean? I'm like a kid going to Disney.
Yeah.
It don't never get old to me, man, because I'm grateful, man. I'm truly grateful for every opportunity and every privilege to be able to have longevity as a songwriter in this industry. And I'm on albums of cats that are now at the top of the game in gospel, Pastor Mike, and you know what I mean, and my boy Otis Kemp, and different people that are on their way up, and I'm a part of these records, and I'm thinking, and people hit me and be like, Jay, how? And I'm like, I'm just writing what he gives me. If you write what he says, he always told me, make sure that you keep my word evident in every song. If you keep my word in it, that's where the blessing is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I've always put the word in the song. And people say, well, you didn't say the word. I said, well, you said, if I be lifted, I'll draw all men unto me. You're my closest friend. In you I live, have my being. That's word. That's word. Whatever state I find myself in, I've learned how to be secure, knowing that God will supply all your needs and he'll work things out for my good. That's word. That's word. I survived it, for he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and all infirmities. When you keep the word evident in the song, that's where the power lies. So, man, man, thank you, man. Thank you for you encouraged me. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And it's crazy because it never gets old. Like when I'm riding in the car, sometimes a record will come on, I'm playing drums. Then one of my songs will come on. It's just like crazy. A song that I wrote for Sap or somebody. I'm like, this is just an amazing space to be in, man, to be used. Because in my mind, for songwriting, I explain it like this. God allows us to eavesdrop what's being sung in heaven, then gives us the responsibility to translate it here on earth and bless people with that.
Man, that is it. Somebody will send me something and be like, a producer will send me a track or something and be like, Jay, can you write to it? And I'm like, man, you have to give me about 2 or 3, maybe 4 days, because I need to make sure that I'm not just writing what I want to say. I need to be able to tap in to hear. And every time I do that, those songs end up taking off. Even if it's not a single, like people be like, man, you ain't mad that you ain't getting a single. No, people still listening to the album.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm cool with not always having a single. You know what I mean? I'm grateful when I do get it, but there's been times that I haven't. But that song, that particular song, like the song I have on Ricky's album right now, it's not a single, but people have hit me nonstop and saying, Jason, my blessing is not far away. Where did that? I said, 2 Timothy. I said, I actually read my word when he prayed for wisdom. He didn't realize that the blessing was on the way and that the Queen of Sheba had millions of dollars worth of blessing on the way. And the fact of the matter is that what impressed her was that he had his house in order. He had his house in order. He had the people around him in order. Everybody was neat. Everybody was ready and prepared to receive the blessing. So what made me understand that the blessing was not far away is the fact that he understood what to pray for from God. He prayed for wisdom to be able to handle what is coming. And so when I was in the room when we were working on the record, and Dana Sori and Zeke Listenby, I said, I got this idea, man. And I told them what the idea was, and I said, what about Not Far Away? And man, Ricky stayed in that room with us for a whole hour and a half. And Zacardi was supposed to lead that song. Wow. And he got sick. And the night before the recording, I was outside walking my dog. And I came back in, my wife was like, Ricky's blowing up your phone. And I was like, I don't know why. I'll be at the recording tomorrow. He said, nephew, you're leading your song tomorrow. Be ready. I'm like,
yo, you sound just like Rick.
You know what I'm saying? And it goes to show that whatever the Lord want to do with you and how he wants to do it. And I'm in my brain, I'm thinking, man, people don't really know that I can sing and I lead worship. So God, I'm out here, I'm trying to figure it out.
Who don't know that, Jason? Who don't know that?
Man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Man,
Yeah.
please, cut it out.
Man, listen, I just, but in your mind, when you move and you like,
no, sir. No, sir. Let me correct you. We all know you can.
Okay.
we all know you can, and you do it quite well, man.
I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful.
Not only have you worked with legends in gospel, but now there's a I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like a little thing going on with the musicians about guys working with secular artists, which you and I both have had the privilege to do. I played for Faith Evans, shout out to Faith, for quite some time. I played for Cannabis before he battled LL, committed career suicide. I still haven't forgiven Cannabis for that, because we had a 20-city tour lined up, and he put out that diss record at LL. L came back and everybody canceled us. Played for the Lost Boys, and but I see that you have worked with Adam Levine, Jack Harlow. Can you just touch on it a little bit? Is it okay for those of us that are kingdom citizens? And it's crazy that you said kingdom workers, because that's the series I'm in at the church right now, building kingdom workers. So is it okay? Because I have my opinion. Is it okay for those of us that are saved to do secular music?
You just have to learn how to not let it dim your light. You know what I mean? I think it's incredible, because when I found out Jetson had produced it, who is like a huge young producer, I got the call during the pandemic, which is crazy. So I had to get COVID tests for everybody to come to the studio. And one thing that everybody that played on the record or had anything to do with that song said to me was, when we heard the choir and your arrangements on the song, it brought a light. It brought peace and joy into the studio. And then what we have to remember is we are conduits of Jesus, of the Most High. So we have to learn how to work in those spaces, because it's work.
Yeah.
Just like you would go to a secular Fortune 500 company, or you go to your job at as a trash worker, MSD worker, or electrician, or whatever you are. Your light shines through you without you having to say nothing.
Right.
And so I think for us, we have to learn how to work in it as a business and not let it dim our light. Mm-hmm. Many people get into that arena and are not strong enough spiritually, are not strong enough for those arenas, and it starts to dim the light.
Yeah.
But when you learn how to keep your light shining, it also makes it easier. And you won't realize how much you'll help an artist. You'll help. I didn't meet a lot of them people that produced and worked on that song. But when people found out that I was a part of it, it was like, man, that's one of our favorite songs on the record. To perform with them and watch a room full of people sing my arrangements for a hip hop record.
Yeah, powerful.
Man. And so I just think you got to learn how to not let it dim your light.
And I think that God has to know that he can trust you.
Come on, man.
Because the thing that people don't know, a lot of the secular artists, they want what we have.
Yeah.
If you go in that room and become one of them, you kill your witness.
I remember Bishop was telling me, some things that were happening behind the scenes. Because, Bishop was really the first cat to really lock in with secular artists. It wasn't Kirk Franklin. So let me put that out there just so y'all know.
That's
Bishop Hezekiah Walker.
That's right.
One of the first to lock in with secular artists and collab. But he was telling me some stories about him and, the other guy. I ain't gonna say his name right now because it's too much going around on him. But but how he had explained to him, hey man, you're not gonna diss our genre, y'all want what we got.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? And so, the respect level of respecting who we are in the kingdom and our gifts and the talents. Half of the singers and half of the bands that are out with these secular artists are church cats.
Church kids anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Like so, I just think it's a level of respect and understanding that God has to be able to trust you in those arenas.
Yeah, that's so good, Jay. Now, how do you maintain, because for you to have the discography that you have, which is quite impressive, and I know you're, we love BMI, but I know you really love BMI.
Thank you, Jesus. I just want to openly say,
yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
I never want to not get on no interview or nothing and not say thank you. I am sitting in a house right now, paid for because of songwriting. So I'm grateful.
Come on. How do you maintain the humility, man? Because for you to have achieved as much as God has blessed you, man, you're really what people see right here. This is Jay. You know what I'm saying? I've never come across you where I've never seen you disrespect. I've never seen you act arrogant. And I love the way you pay homage to those of us that were doing it and how you just embrace us and, big bro, this, uncle, that. Like that, I think that's part of your sustainability. Because when you can honor the ones, and you've done way more than I've done. You know what I'm saying? But to see you doing it, I'm standing on the sideline like, yo, Jay, you make me want to get back and take my pen out again and keep writing. It's because of people like you that I'm even launching my music group, bro, and now starting to put out other artists. But that level of humility that you maintain, it's rare because I know cats that have done less and their heads are just swole, bro. How do you stay away from that?
I had to realize, and God took me through a season when Better was like top for like 20 something weeks on Billboard.
Yeah.
At home at my church, I was going through a season of craziness, and the Lord was teaching me that all you are is a servant. So even in an up season, the Lord was still teaching me that all I am is a servant. So I've always tried to move like God, like Jesus did. I don't think we realize, the magnitude of Jesus and who he was and how he moved. And he was always reachable. He was always teaching, and he was always in the crowd of hanging with the cats. Like his disciples was hood cats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They was money changers and hustlers and fishermen. I mean, they was trying to, they didn't know, but they trusted and believed. So I've always just tried to stay humble. And then I've watched the people that we look up to, our pops. I watch how Bishop move. I watch how Ricky move. I watch how Donald move. I mean, even though they're who they are, they still never stop remaining reachable to people, man. And when you start smelling yourself, I feel like even though you might feel like you up, that's when the Lord be like, all right, I gotta pull them on back down. And so I've always tried to stay in a humble posture, man, because at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning, man, I'm a servant of the Lord, man. So and I want to be and show people and be the light to show people that, hey, man, no matter what age you are, if you gifted and the Lord has anointed you to do, it ain't over for you yet.
Yeah.
It's not, man.
And one thing I love about you, you pivot. And I think that's our namesake, because every time I look, you're doing something different. This, that. Now you are I don't want to say the title, but what are you, the National Praise and Worship Leader for Covenant Keepers?
Yeah, man. You know our pops, man. We just gotta go with him, man. When the Lord give him something, man. I was watching a game one night, me and my son, and he called me and said, "Godson, I want you to be my international worship leader." And I'm like, "For what?" He was like, for my convention. I'll tell you more about it later. Trust me, I got you. And I was like, okay, like just tell me. I'm gonna fly you out next week. And so I've just learned how to move with the coverings that the Lord has put over us.
Yeah. So important.
You know what I mean? And it's important, from traveling around the world with Dr. Ron Canoli, and then being with Bishop, and being able to be up under these covers and up under my pastor, who has had longevity and is a college president and a pastor. And I just have learned how to honor those that the Lord has allowed me to learn and glean from. So he called me, man, and my first year was last year, man, and we're looking at go into this new year, and then I'm a team player too, man. So I'm always thinking about adding people and pulling people in and figuring out how I can make the team better. I'm glad you got on that Celtics hat, because what's helping them win is team ball.
Come on.
When the star player is not at his best, everybody else steps up. So what wins championships, and we've seen it multiple times, we talk about MJ, but what helped him win those championships was Tony Kukoc and Pippen and Rodman and Steve Kerr and all of these cats that were supporting. It was the team effort.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's what the Lord, first, I know what Bishop has always been on that too. It doesn't always work out because your heart is big. People, take advantage of that. But I'm glad to be a part of Covenant Keepers International Alliance. I'm glad to be a part of the Thomas Dorsey Convention, and I'm a part of so many conventions now. I'm like, oh shoot! But I'm grateful, man, and I'm looking forward to see what the Lord does with Covenant Keepers.
I can't wait to get down to Charlotte, man.
Oh man,
this will be my first convocation.
Also, you already know. You already know.
Yeah.
I'm put you to work, man. You can't
Bishop told me. Bishop told me. He looked at my bishop. He said, "Now, I'm gonna put him right to work." I was like, Bishop, whatever you need me to do, man. I'm ready.
But because we stay in that posture, the Lord always says, "Okay, here, go do this. Here, I can trust you with this." And so, man, listen, I'm excited, man, for what the Lord can do, man. I'm telling you, man, they done put the Jasons together. It's over.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. But yo, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Okay. I could really talk to you all day, bro.
All day, man.
What does Jason Clayborn like to do for fun?
It's crazy, man. I like to bowl, man. I bought my own, bowling balls and shoes, and me and my son will go do that. Yeah, man.
How good are you?
I'm not gonna act like I'm super good. I bought me a spin ball, so I'm learning how, to get my, get the flick of my wrist right. So I'm good. I ain't top yet, but I'm gonna get there.
So maybe when we in Charlotte, we can get some downtime and we go to the lane and see what's up. I talk a lot of trash, Clayborn. I talk a lot of trash.
Man, listen, I'm with it. Man, but I like to bowl, man. I'm a sneakerhead, you know what I mean?
Me too.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we like to stay fly. That's what that's what we do. And and I love to travel, man. I love to travel, and I love to take my kids with me on the road. My daughter, she's a theater major at the University of Kentucky. She's going into her senior year, and man, she's an arts administration and a musical theater. And she's brilliant, man. So to be able to take them, my son is 10, and to be able to take them and let them see what the Lord is doing in my life, and let them be a part of it, man. Now my son, he's a hotel head. Where we going? I'm gonna take my PS5 and plug up at the hotel, sitting there like Macaulay Culkin and eat burgers and ice cream, and so for him to be able to do that, man, and for me to be able to take my family on the road with me and travel and do ministry, I think that's what I love to do the most, man. I love the bowl, love a good sneaker always, and man,
how many pair of sneakers? How many pair of sneakers you got?
I don't even want to say it because I don't even want. It's bad. Over 150. Over 150.
Yeah. I'm at like close to 2.
Yeah. I'm pushing that. Yeah, I know. I'm just like, I ain't buying no more clear boxes. I'm glad I bought the clear cases so I can see my shoes now.
And do you put them? I got them in the clear box, but I write on it with the Sharpie.
Absolutely. So my grills, what my grills are, because I know my son, he's in a size 8, and when he gets, I'm a 10 and a half. So when he gets in my size, I know he's gonna be coming in my rooms trying to wear shoes. So I'm gonna say these. Nah, I can't wear these, man. You can wear any of these other shoes, but there's about 40 pair that you cannot put your feet in.
My grandson and I wear the same size. And he came here the other day and tried to take my Air Force Ones. I said, no. My brand new, you got to have a pair of Air Force Ones for the summer.
Always.
I said, man of God, you can't. I said, matter of fact, take them. And I just went and brought another pair. I said, now don't come here no more, son. I said, don't come here. Don't come here no more. And he tried to get them. I said, no, man of God, you don't touch.
You always got to have a fresh pair of Air Force Ones. Now, I'm getting into now. I'm a little bit more particular about what I buy. So it has to be a bait, or something that I know I'm going to wear, because I was just buying everything.
Yeah.
And then I started looking. I'm like, I wore that once and ain't even wore it. I've been giving away stuff. Yeah. I give away shoes all the time, and every time I give some away, my wife was, she's like, I ain't never seen them. I'm like, you ain't went in and you ain't looked, even if it is brand new.
Right.
And so, man, but yeah, man, that's what I like to do, man. I love a sneaker. I love a bow. And I just love being around family, man, and having a good time. Yeah. I tell people all the time, you got to have balance, man. You got to be able to, man. My pastor said, you got to go away annually. You got to get away weekly, and you got to divert daily. You got to figure out a way for an hour a day where you just go do somewhere you clear your mind, watch a movie, do something where it's not always working. Then weekly, find something to do. Go to the movies, get away from your home. You know what I mean? And then go away annually, and that's 2 or 3 times a year. Find somewhere, an island or Gatlinburg or somewhere to go and get away so that you can have some balance, man.
Yeah.
And so, man, that's what I love to do, man.
Yeah, I'm a movie buff, man. I go see everything. I got this Regal app where I pay, if I buy the tickets ahead of time, I pay 50 cents to go to the movies. But if I go to the theater and I scan the QR code, I pay nothing. And I can go to the movie 1,000 times a month for $0. I pay $23 a month for that.
How did you do that?
It's Regal VIP.
Man, I need to find that. I need to get. Hopefully, we have that in my area, because I need that.
If y'all have Regal theaters, it's across the country.
Yeah, we do. We do have I think we have at least 1 or 2 of them. So I'm doing that.
Yeah, because that AMC, not of God.
No, and they try to charge you out the wazoo every time.
Yeah, paying $26 sometimes.
Yeah,
to go to like, man, you pay that one time fee, $23. You can go to the movie all month. Like, I go see everything, animation. Of course, I done seen Bad Boy 3 times already.
Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to see it this weekend. I hadn't had a chance.
I'm gonna just tell you one thing: look out for Reggie. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
All right, cool.
When you see what happens with Reggie, you're gonna call me like, "Yo, Hen, that was crazy."
Cool.
That was crazy. Yes, sir. But yo, Jay, man, thank you so much for taking time out. Please give my love to your wife, the kids, everybody. Now, what you keep talking about your church, but what church do you go to? Who's your pastor?
I am at the St. Stephen Baptist Church. This is my 20th year at my church now. I've been the worship leader there. Reverend Dr. Kevin W. Cosby is my pastor. Nice. He is the 107th HBCU president of Simmons College of Kentucky. Man, he's been a beacon of light, showing me how to handle business and showing me in ministry how to move and different things of that nature. And man, I owe a lot to him of just being consistent in my life as a man of God, man. And I've sat still at the same church for the last 20 years, man.
That's powerful, man. Big shout out, because you artists, you need pastors.
Got you.
So shout out to Pastor Crosby.
Cosby.
Shout out to Pastor Cosby, and shout out to my bishop, Bishop Darrell Hill. So necessary to have these covers.
Absolutely.
But Jay, every show, I always leave the stage and let my guests just flow and just give some encouraging words to maybe a new songwriter, up and coming artist, a father, a husband, you know, where this will be airing the day after Father's Day. So you can, however God leads you, man, but the stage is yours, brother.
Man, I have a song out right now called 7,000 Promises in the Bible, and I had to realize that God has promised us so many things. And we have to understand that sometimes he didn't say it was a promise. If you be willing and obedient, you'll eat the good of the land. That's a promise. You be the head and not the tail. Promise above and not beneath. The promise. And I never forget, I had my daughter at a wedlock, and I thought my life was over. And the Lord showed me, he said, if you take care of your business and you handle your business of taking care of your daughter, I'll bless you. And he's blown my mind. I want to say to all fathers, be a father to your children. Even if you're learning how to be a father, it takes time to learn. And all independent artists and writers, know that you're called to this. It's not just something that you're doing because you want to make money or you want to be famous or you want to be a known name. Know that this is your calling. This is what you've been chosen for. Know that so that you won't waste money, you won't waste time in investing in something that this is not what you're in or this is not what you're called to. Know that the Lord will guide you and lead you. Make sure that you plant your tree by a river that is flowing so that you'll see fruit in season and out of season. Know that the Lord is in control of your life, and make sure that even if you make a mistake or something happens, know that God can pick you up, he can dust you off, and he can still use you. I'm a testament of that, and I'm just grateful for the Lord being and continuing to use me. And like I said, know that this is what you're called to do. And it's not just about a platform, but it's about being a servant of the Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, my brother, Jason Clayborn.
Man, thank God for you, man.
Yo, I don't even know what to say, man. This was such a blessing. If people want to get in contact with you, if they want to book you, if they want you to write a song for them, how do they reach you?
It's real easy, man. I'm on Instagram. I'm Jason Clayborn 44 on YouTube and Facebook, Jason Clayborn Music. Just hit me up on those pages, my management, and we'll get back with you, man, and we can make it happen. Real easy, man. Y'all follow me, and let's create music that blesses the world and blesses the kingdom.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother, my friend, my worship leader under the covenant keepers. I am so excited to just be in the room with you, man. And
man, I can't wait.
It's gonna be amazing. But Joe Jay, thank you so much, man. May the Lord continue to bless you and everything that you put your hands to. I'm super proud of you, bro. And I'm even more blessed to be connected to you, man. Thank you for coming to the conversation. Blessings, man.
Thank you. Bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was my boy, Jason Clayborn. Man, one of the coldest cats in the game. I want you to support him. Anything he has coming up, anything he's doing, support his music. I believe he has a group, Jason Clayborn and the Atmosphere Changes. Yes, Jason Clayborn and the Atmosphere Changes. I'm telling you, you want to support his music. You want to get to know the ministry of my brother, Jason Clayborn. Guys, I'm telling you, we're only getting better and better. Again, you can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere where podcasts are. Kingdom Conversations BK. Make sure you do that. Kingdom Conversations BK. And please take a moment today, right now, after we go off air, to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay connected to what we're doing, because we believe nothing can stop you from becoming who you've been called and created to be but you. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Bye.